Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for being here today. So for today's lesson, we're going to learn how to reduce fractions. So first, let's start off, what is a fraction? So a fraction is a part of a whole number. So a fraction has a top, which is the numerator, and a bottom, which is the denominator. So I think an easy way to think about fractions is to think of it in the terms of money. So let's think about money. Let's say I have $1. So a whole number of that, you can also write it as 4/4. So let's say I have 1/4, 25 cents. Does anyone want to write up here what they think that 1/4 out of $1 would look as a fraction? Sure. Perfect, yeah. So 1/4 would be 1/4 of a dollar because we have one out of the four numbers there. So 1/4, if I had 2 quarters, we'd have 2 fourths, 3 3/4, but a whole dollar is going to be that whole number of 4/4. So now let's start with the reducing aspect of this. So a way that I really like to think about reducing is using factor trees. So let's see over here. Let's just start first with the whole number. We'll use 24. So essentially what you want to do with the factor tree is you're trying to get the number into its prime factors. A prime factor is a number that can only be divided by 1 and itself. So we have 24 up here. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is to think what are two factors that multiply together to equal this 24. So two numbers that we could use are 8 and 3. Now 3, there's nothing else I can divide a 3 by other than 1 in itself to still get a whole number. So we know that this is a prime factor. For 8, that can be broken down more into 4 and 2. And then even 4 can get broken down more into 2 and 2. So we know the prime factors for 24 are 3 2s and a 3. So now we have a fraction that we have to reduce. So essentially how we're going to do that is we're going to take the numerator and the denominator and break that down to their lowest form. So does anyone want to take this 6/8 and try doing the factor tree themselves? Great, thanks Rachel. So if you want to write over here and break down that 6 and 8 for us. So great, as you can see, she's starting with that 6. 6 can get broken down into that 3 and 2, and as we saw in that first problem, we know those are prime factors. So now she's going to work on that 8. So you can see that breaks down into 4 and 2. So we know that 2 is going to be our prime factor, but 4 can get broken down even more into that 2 and 2. And we know that because we did see that in this first one as well. So from what we can see is that we have 3 and 3 2s. So when it comes to a number they have in common there, it's that 2. So we know they can both be divided by 2. So I'm going to divide 6 by 2, and I'm going to get a 3. And then I'm going to divide 8 by 2, and I'm going to get a 4. So this is 6/8 reduced into its prime factors, into the lowest numbers that you can reduce them into. So for that is going to be our answer for reducing 6/8. So for fractions and reducing, this is all we have time to get to today. But in the future, we will move on to add addition and multiplying, which we will be using those reduced factors forms in there as well. So thank you.